another company, Novartis, they were working on a bird flu vaccine. Well, I guess, you need someone to test, and not a lot of people want to be test victims, so they got some homeless people to test their bird flu vaccine on. Well, they killed 21 homeless people while they were working on their bird flu vaccine trials in summer of 2008. And they said, you know what, it's safe. That's primarily kind of give and take whenever you're going through a test trial. So the death of 21 homeless people in Poland was just written off as kind of collateral damage by the company Novartis. But actually, the amount of people that died, that meets our own government, the U.S. government's definition of a bioweapon. So the fact that they manufactured this virus, that wasn't their intention. But the fact that it killed that many people and it was presented in a medical form meets our definition, American definition, of a bioweapon. So what are you really putting into your body? Another thing that happened 2 or 3 days after it kind of made the news in America, I think it was on every channel. I think if I remember correctly, it was Monday, April 27th. On Wednesday, the 29th, in Switzerland, there's a scientist riding a train. This should be in my opinion, if you're a scientist, they had the swine flu vaccine samples, the actual swine flu virus in a canister. It had dry ice in it. It was sealed the right way. But if you have all that stuff, you should be on some top secret car, or you should be away from the public. The canister exploded on that train. Now again, you probably didn't see this on CNN or on ABC or whatever. This is just from me doing research I've done and meeting the people I've met online who send me stories from foreign countries and stuff. So actually it exploded in Switzerland and spread swine flu that way. This is just a look into some of the profits that these big pharmaceutical companies make. And I'm not anti-capitalism, I'm not anti-profit. This is America. If you make a great product and people want it, then you deserve to make a profit. But what's disturbing is when you can't really separate the medicine from the government, and people get in bed together, and you don't really know who's putting money in whose pocket. So here's a couple of facts for you about Wyeth, W-Y-E-T-H. It's the maker of the pneumococcal vaccine, which is a children's vaccination you get when they're young. They donated $342,000 to the Academy of Pediatrics for conferences and education classes. They threw them a little money that way. Well, they made $2 billion last year from that vaccine. They contributed $433,000. That's MERCK for things such as conferences and stuff like that for the American Academy of Pediatrics. Well, they ended up making $1.5 billion last year off their HPV vaccine. Another big donor was Aventis, and they make 17 vaccines. And a new one, I haven't heard of this one, it's a 5-in-1 combo that's coming out. And they were a pretty big donor. And that fact, they wouldn't let out how much money they stand to profit off that. But there's one guy, he's the chief of infectious disease at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. He's a professor of pediatrics at Penn's Medical School. He's a pretty big guy. He's pretty important, sounds like.
That Children's Hospital is probably the top 3.
Is that right?
It's job.
So he, let me get the quote right on here. He wouldn't be interviewed from this news company, but his quote was, he's gone as far as to say babies can tolerate 10,000 vaccines at once. So this guy's a big believer in vaccines. And I'm not saying don't vaccinate your children. My children have gotten the basic vaccines such as polio and all that, MMR and all that stuff. I think those are tested, those are good vaccines. Now, some people disagree with me, and that's fine. This is America. You should be able not to vaccinate your children if you don't want to. But it's disturbing when medicine, which is to treat us and help us and keep us healthy, is making such a extraordinary profit. And I'm not trying to cap how much money they make, but we should all be allowed to know the substantial profit that could be made, what the medicine is made out of, and all the possible side effects. It should be common knowledge instead of having to dig like I've done these past 6 months.